Welcome to The Experience, live with Russ and Scott. Join us every Wednesday at 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. Learn more about the Experience community at our website, local.theexperience.video, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. The Experience is brought to you each week by these great sponsors. Buddy Puckett at Guild Mortgage, 698 12th Street Southeast, Suite 100 in Salem. Give Buddy a call at 503-851-8031 and find him online at guildmortgage.com. The Aspects of Aging weekly talk show with Christine A. Smith. Unscripted conversations with experts. Live every Monday at noon Central on LinkedIn and YouTube. Learn more at agingbetternetwork.com. BestEntrepreneurSolutions.com. Nancy Bakke helps business owners attain their goals, create new business opportunities, generate higher conversion rates, and increase customer values. Learn how you can work with Nancy at BestEntrepreneurSolutions.com. And now let's get on with the show. Well, good morning. I'm Chevy Chase, and you're not.
That's so good. I love that. Yes, I'm not.
Today's guest, Luke John Louis, and he is from New York, and we are live. And so it just felt natural to go right into that whole Saturday Night Live deal. So
I love that. I love that. Well, everybody, welcome to The Experience Live with Russ and Scott. We're here every Wednesday morning, 7 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time or 9 a.m. Texas Standard Time for your viewing and listening pleasure. That's right. Scott and I are here to spread joy, spread the experience of life, and amazing guests. Like Scott says, we have the most remarkable guests. Not only can you watch us live at 9 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, but then it sits on LinkedIn, YouTube forever, Facebook for 30 days. So you can go back, watch, share, engage, connect with people. But guess what? There's more. Then it converts to audio podcast, and you can listen on Spotify. And we would love for you to do that and share this all with your friends. Scott, how in the world are you doing this morning?
Order yet?
Yeah. There's more. More.
If you subscribe to our YouTube channel today, you can get The Experience Live, The Experience Local, and much, much more. Yeah, there's just a ton of stuff going on. I encourage people, go to local.theexperience.video, local.theexperience.video. That'll take you to a little landing page where you can go directly to things like Russ Head's book right there, right over his shoulder, Befuddled, Live the Life You Choose. If you click on that, it's going to take you to Amazon, and you can buy his book for yourself or for someone else. You can click and go to The Waco Experience, An American Story, the radio show and podcast that I have every week, talking with leaders in business, government, and nonprofits here in the heart of Texas. So go to local.theexperience.video.
And I finally got that up on the screen. I'm doing too many things this morning while we're producing the show. But you know what? That is the best place definitely to go to get information. We'd love for you to subscribe to our YouTube page also. And if you just want to go straight to our YouTube page, you go to theexperience.video. We'll take you straight there. Subscribe today. It's growing. It's exciting. Not only are all of our shows there, but my amazing animals, my beagle and cat, who are way more popular than Scott and I on YouTube Shorts. But
understandably
so. So anyway, having so much fun. Scott, what do you got going on this week?
Well, I tell you, it's been good. We were in Houston last week. Got to go to the social media breakfast with Houston C, Shri, and a lot of other people. Many people that are participating in the Global Tea Break, which is the third Friday of every month. Guess what? That's this Friday. And Charlie Swords was going to be our guest. And she's an expert in leadership. She's there in Ireland. She had a death in her family. And so we're going to reschedule her. We need to give her time, and always family first. So I'll be speaking about the 4 leadership traits and how we apply those in business. And so tune in for that this Friday. Go to globaltbreak.com.
Well, you definitely do not want to miss that because Scott is amazing, has so much amazing information, and we're going to get that website up for all of you, the globalcheebreak.com. I'm sure that's going to appear in the comments at any second. I know it's going to happen. I can feel it. Anyway, as soon as that does, I will get that up. And I know that Ever is typing feverishly in the background, so we'll get that all going. But there you go. Scott got it. He beat Ever. GlobalTbreak.com. There you go. So I just want to get that up on the screen. And yeah, shout out to Cammie and Sheree, who Scott got to see last week. I got to see them all virtually, but unfortunately, I didn't get to give them a hug and be there in person. Still waiting for the day. I met Cammie before, but have not.
It's coming. You'll come down here to Texas, and we'll tour you around and see the folks. But Russ, you are an inspirational speaker, and you were able to speak at a group that has been a sponsor on this show.
Yeah, Fitzpatrick Painting and Construction, great group. Tim Fitzpatrick, amazing owner, a godly man, friend for a long time, and he and his marketing guy, who is got a higher title than that. I forget Chris Manally's title, but they brought me in to speak and inspire the group for a little short segment on Monday. So blessed to be able to go in and do that. They have a huge staff, just a great group. And the day that I walked in, there were like 7 new employees. That's how busy they are. Wow. And so, and so just such an amazing group and just such a fun time. So if you're looking to inspire and encourage your staff, I'd love to come in and do that and help you out today. But Scott, also, like I said, this Friday on the Global Tea Break, you're going to want to tune into that because that is going to be an amazing time. Please engage this morning, by the way, everybody. Right now, our good friend Bobby G is already saying good morning. Hey, Bobby G. And so such an amazing friend met back in New York. So many great people that are just in this community, right, that you can engage with. But this morning we're focused on Luke G. Luis, who actually, what's amazing is the same trip back to New York. I met Luke for coffee and Bobby G for a personal tour of the 9/11 Museum. Mm-hmm. So, we're going to get Luke in. Scott, you got anything else before we get rolling?
I was going to say Bobby G is a true American hero. And if people want to learn a little bit more about his story, go to our YouTube channel, go back to the September 11th broadcast, which was actually on September 11th. And I will say a heart-rending story of what he went through, but also just the inspiration of the number of people who came together to do what they could to help save people.
Yeah, I mean, really, what he's still going through, but he has such a great attitude on life. That's why I love Bobby G. Mm-hmm. Such a great man. And so, yeah. But hey, I'm going to get Luke in and we're going to get things started because he is talking about connecting people. I just got to tell people this before we start. When I first met Luke, and Scott, I believe you're the one that introduced us, he said, do you mind if I connect you with a few people? And I said, great. I'm expecting a couple connections like most people do. And what happens? The first day I get like a dozen connections. I'm like, whoa, this guy is serious about his connecting. So here he is, Mr. Luke G. Luis. Hey, Luke.
Hey, guys. How's it going? Good morning.
So good to see you today. And what a blessing. You and Charlene Brown and Tim Sohn all had coffee at a little coffee shop that my son recommended in Manhattan. And what a great time we had. And of course, we got a bunch of hashtag Russ selfies to prove we were all there. That's always important. But Luke, I know the amazing things you're up to, all the things that you're doing, but not everybody does. So give us a little snapshot. Who is Luke and what are you up to?
Sure. So, and again, thank you so much, guys, for having me on as a guest on this amazing show. I'm honored to be here. as far as what I'm up to, so as you know, I actually recently self-published my first personal development book. Yes, very excited about that. It's called the Life Lessons from the Deep Voice Man. If you see it, it's probably on backwards, So but
No,
that's
no,
okay.
you're straight up. We're good.
Oh, okay. So I in the book, it's funny because when I started writing out the chapters, I wasn't thinking about writing a book at first. What I wanted to do was I wanted to write out these atomic essays. So I had joined a writing community. It's like an online writing community called TypeShare, and essentially it's just a bunch of folks, writing out stories, essays, tweets, blog posts, articles, and we trade, exchange praise called Signal and whatnot. So every day I had a goal of writing at least one atomic essay for about like a month and a half, and so a lot of people said that my writing made them think. And so I thought, why don't I combine all these atomic essays and put it all in one book? And so that's sort of how it kind of came to be. And so so many people who've read the book said they really enjoyed it. So now I'm thinking about self-publishing a second and third book in the sort of life lesson series and seeing where this goes in terms of using Amazon's KDP platform. And but I think when it comes to promoting your book, they say you have to have at least two or three out at one time. So I'm right now I'm currently working on the second and third book in the series.
And you have a couple of other books that you've written as well.
Yes, I have. I wrote two other books about how small businesses can promote themselves online using digital marketing, things like Facebook ads, Google ads, SEO, and web design and whatnot. So I sort of kind of moved in a different direction, sort of pivoted sort of from B2B to B2C. I think it's just more rewarding for when it comes to for I just prefer B2C more. So I've sort of transitioned from the B2B world to the B2C world. And but yes, I do have two other books that are also available on Amazon, and which also has valuable material as well. But for some reason, I've always been a big fan of self-help and personal development books. Over the years, I've consumed and devoured so much personal development literature, books, blogs, YouTube videos, podcasts, and whatnot. So it's sort of like my brain is like a sponge. So I sort of absorbed so much material that I decided to write a book and distill all that information into short, bite-sized chapters, and also including my own personal experience and whatnot, and my own stories. And so it seems to be going well. Definitely want to produce some more books in the upcoming future for sure.
Well, you and I are so much alike, Luke, because my book, my first book, and my book coming out here in the fall, it's very similar to yours in the fact easily digestible. You highlight and get key points in there. I call it the John Maxwell format, but it's very easy. I look at your book and there's the three keys to success, the three P's: people, productivity, and personality. You get that really quickly. You don't have to read long. And next thing you know, you've already got a little snippet. And of course, you start off with Jim Rohn, who's one of my favorites. You are the average of the five people you spend the most time with. I'm sure you got that quote from me to put in your book. But anyway, Jim Rohn is amazing. I have a regular guest on my show who is Lisa Marie out of Australia, a good friend. And her mentor, personal, before Jim passed, was Jim Rohn. And she has worked with Jim Rohn and worked with Tony Robbins and all of them. And of course, we know Tony Robbins got his start because of Jim Rohn as well. So great quote to start with. Just saying, people need to pick this book up and they need to read Luke's thing because it is simple, easy to digest. And, it's kind of like my morning devotional. You can pick this up, read a chapter every day, just a couple pages, take you just a couple minutes, and you'll be through this book in no time, have so much great value. And Luke, I really appreciate what you do there tell us a little bit more about why personal, why you like to help people personally succeed, have improvement in their lives, and give them this great information through books. What inspires you to do that to begin with?
Sure. So it's interesting because there's an old saying. They say that when you teach, you get to learn twice, so to speak, right? I'm sure you'd agree.
Oh, I love
So
that. Yeah, the teacher always learns more than the student.
yes, absolutely. So for me, obviously, when I teach others, it helps me to internalize it and actually follow through with it. If I'm obviously teaching it to others, I have to do it myself. And I think when it comes to teaching in general, I think everyone sort of loves to teach. I would think maybe some people more than others. So many people go into the teaching field, and even though they don't earn a lot of money, they still do it because they get something out of it. Maybe it's a little hard to describe, so I have some of that in me. But when I was growing up, people always told me I should be a teacher. But I do like teaching, but I don't like the idea of being a school teacher. I've heard so many horror stories from people who've worked in public education about long hours, bureaucracy, this, that, and the other thing. So my thing is, I would love to enjoy the fruits of teaching without having to deal with any of that nonsense, but to do it in my own way, where I have control, where I can dictate perhaps compensation and what I teach and who I teach. Obviously, it's so important in life to just try to grab as much good as you can while trying to lower and reduce the downside as much as you can. And it's possible now with the internet. I think I heard it from you when you said that is the greatest time to be alive. And and that's so true because I write in the book how the internet is the great equalizer, right? And that's how I met you guys, so to speak. And so there's so much opportunity out there. And I think if people aren't leveraging the internet, they're sort of missing the boat, so to speak.
Yeah, and I'd love to hear a little bit about your journey to where you are now as a coach, writing books, working as a teacher, but on this individualized basis. And as you
Right.
said, we met on your podcast,
Yes.
the Deep Voice Man show, and you know how we measure time in terms of COVID. I think we met BC before COVID or somewhere right around that time. Let's go back
Yes.
and go back to when you started the podcast and have leveraged that to bring you to where you are today.
Sure. It's funny because you know, I, uh, I started the podcast because I was working in customer service, and all throughout my life, people had at that point had complimented me on my rich, deep, melodious voice, and I had a coworker who sat right next to me, and so he heard me speak on the phone all the time, speaking with customers, and by the way, the customers on the phone would also compliment me on my voice. And so this gentleman, a colleague of mine who sat right next to me, he said, "Hey, Luke, you should do something with your voice, try to find a way to monetize, lucratize, I don't know if that's a word, lucratize, but,
Lucratize. There you go.
yeah,
I dig that.
yeah, you
We can
like
go
that,
with
right?
that. That's a LUK lucratize. So anyway, go ahead.
Yes, I have a new word there. That's coined. So I thought to myself, okay, maybe I should do something with this. I was also reading a lot of books. I always read self-help books. I was reading a book by Steve Gordon called Unstoppable Referrals about how you can build a network by interviewing people. I thought to myself, okay, so it was all kind of coming together. So I started the podcast. I was able to start the podcast for free using a platform called Anchor, which is, I believe Spotify actually bought them,
Mhm.
but it's still free to start one, right? So I started. I thought to myself, what should I call it? So I decided to call it the Deep Voice Man Show. It's an audio only show, so people can listen to it. It's hands and eye free. And I thought to myself, well, how do I get guests? And then what I found was that most people don't turn down free publicity. So it's actually quite easy to start to seek guests and start relationships. So it's been amazing. And I actually reached out to Scott on LinkedIn, the LinkedIn platform. At the time, I was looking to build relationships with business coaches. So I just plugged in business coach into the LinkedIn search box. I found Scott. At the time, I don't believe, I think you weren't in Waco at the time. I
No, that
think
was in Oregon.
you were in Oregon, right? And so I reached out to Scott and because I was very impressed with what I saw in his profile. Scott was gracious enough to actually come on my show as a guest. And so I'm very thankful for that. And the conversation was excellent. You talked about your book. You talked about being a motivational listener, which I believe you got from your wife, right? And it was an interesting
You remember
concept.
well.
And I actually introduced you to other podcasters, which I love to do. I think you were on Mike DeChocho's show, Mic'd Up.
Hmm.
That was
Yep.
also an amazing conversation. And so the podcast has actually done very well. The listenership has expanded. So many people have listened to the show from all over the world, from African countries like Gambia to Middle Eastern countries and Europe and India. So it's in all 50 states, believe it or not. So it's so amazing. Still, interviewing people on the podcast in order to build relationships and whatnot. Podcasting is something I recommend to everyone. Particularly with the interview format, and it's free to start in order to build relationships.
Yeah, I that's exactly how I started, and because it was the good advice of my good friend and mentor, Mr. D. Scott Smith, who we had a wonderful coffee and breakfast together at the New Morning Bakery in Corvallis, Oregon, in October of 2019, where Scott really kind of uh, coached me, advised me, pushed me, shoved me towards what I do today. Scott kind of is good at overwhelming me, but all of it was he goes, "Hey, you should do a podcast." And I'm like, "Whoa, I never even really thought about that." And then he's telling me that I can use Anchor, which is what I used to start as well. And I started those with happy moments, hashtag happy moments with my mama who was going through Alzheimer's at the time. Those were my first podcasts. And there's always that starting point, and we identify with what's going on in our lives. And I just love that. I love that. But back to you, Luke. You and I also met on your show. That's where we started our relationship because of Scott's connection. And
Right.
I just really love the fact that you have taken these opportunities and use them to connect with people. And that's what people need to really realize today. It's way easier than they think to connect with people and find good people like yourself. You and I would have never been friends had it not been for you putting in business coaches, finding Scott, then Scott, connecting me with you. And then you and I meet in New York for coffee. I mean, let's think about that. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
talk more about this connection thing because you are a wizard at this.
Sure. So, and thank you so much for the compliment. It's funny when it comes to connecting folks. I'm naturally an introvert, so I'm not a very talkative person. So obviously, I'm going to talk a lot now since I'm being interviewed. But it's one of those things where you have to come to understand the power and the value of a network. Your net worth is tied to your network. And the luckiest people tend to be extroverted because they have so many friends who key them in on opportunities and whatnot. That's how a lot of people find jobs. A lot of people find out about business opportunities through their network. So I do what I always do. I read books on it to find out how to network, how to build my network. And so I read books by folks like Ivan Misner, Bob Berg, and whatnot. These are very knowledgeable guys, and I just started applying what I learned, so to speak, and that's all it is. If you ever want to improve on anything, the information's out there. I always tell folks, no matter what you want to do, there's a highly rated, uh, highly reviewed book for it on Amazon for you to check out. And so again, applying what I learned from guys like Bob Berg and Steve Gordon, started a podcast and obviously did networking that was more in person and whatnot. My preference now is to do online digital networking. So that's sort of how it came to be. And then obviously, I developed a list of podcasters, and guys like Mike DeChocho reached out to me, and then I started introducing folks to him that he had on his show, and that was so amazing to see guests on his show that I had introduced him to. It's quite an indescribable feeling when you see that, and you sort of made that happen. So basically, I just started applying what I learned. Um, because if someone wants to be on my podcast, they probably want to be on other podcasts. So I always introduce people to a slew of podcasters. I can't guarantee they'll have them on the show, but I can just make the introduction. I also try to email them a list of resources, things on the internet they may like. It goes a long way in building goodwill, so to speak. And so I try to follow Bob Berg's philosophy of go giving. Also, Bob Berg's philosophy of always having questions and letting the other person talk. I think Scott mentions this in his book about being a motivational listener. Very important. That you work on listening. Listening is actually an active skill, so to speak. And since I'm not naturally a talker, listening is actually something that comes naturally to me. So I don't mind letting the other person hog the microphone and sort of have the stage all to themselves. So that actually works to my advantage.
And that's where they think extroverts are natural networkers, but maybe introverts are actually better because they are listening. And I'm just going to put your book back up here, Life Lessons from the Deep Voice Man. It's available on Amazon. People can get it. And the nice thing about this book is that it's I'll say it's like a book of Proverbs, right? You can just kind of pick through. You don't need to start at page 1 and go through. You can just kind of spend the summer, put this by your wherever you have your morning routine, and just kind of read a little bit of advice and see how you want to apply that to your life that day.
Well, I want to say real quickly too, before we wrap things up here, Luke, and that is, I agree 100% with Scott. I'm going to read one little piece here because people need to know what great stuff's in here. We're talking about networking and people, and you're talking about people being the key to success. And this starts with that quote I said, Jim Rohn, this is about people that you wrote. Jim Rohn says, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Remember, a house's value is determined by the prices that nearby houses were sold for. Imagine if you desired to master a foreign language, you could learn on your own, or you could immerse yourself in a country where the language is ubiquitous. Which strategy is more effective? Surround yourself with go-getters who want to achieve similar goals online and offline. Everyone can hold each other accountable, learn from each other, and celebrate wins. And I'm telling you, good stuff in this book, everybody. This is stuff you need to know. We're better together. And with that, Luke, we're going to give you the last word here. Well, almost the last word.
Almost the last word.
Before Scott and I take back over. But anyway, tell us your gold nugget from today's conversation, what you want people to really remember, and let people know how they get in touch with you. All right, go for it.
Sure. So as far as the gold nugget goes, I just want folks to understand that obviously, whatever you want to accomplish in life, whatever kind of goals you want to attain, it is possible. You have to believe it's possible. You have to be around people who have attained the same goal, who may have started off with, you know, um, more disadvantages than you. No matter what you want to do, there's always someone who had a rougher go of it, but still accomplished whatever you want to accomplish. So it is possible, and that should give you hope. And just find your group and have them hold you accountable. It's so important that folks understand that, and so it can be done. Believe it can be done, and it will be done. As far as where people can reach me, they can go to my website, clockfreedom.com. If you do go to my website, clockfreedom.com, for a brief while, I'm actually offering a free audio version of my book. So if they wish, they can go there and get the free audio book.
And did you read that yourself?
It's funny. So many people suggested I read it myself. I actually did not read it myself. I actually did hire a voice artist from ACX who's very good, who also has a very low voice. I decided to go with him to sort of save time, and because I don't have the professional equipment to do kind of voice recording and whatnot. But
Well,
hopefully
I've done
in the
the
future, yes.
audiobook, and I tell you, it's a pain in the butt. So well done.
Yeah. Yeah, you got it. Thank you so much. In the future, I do want to obviously record my own books. So I definitely want to look into that. But if someone wants the free audio version, the gentleman I hired was very good. He had an excellent deep voice. You won't regret listening to it.
Awesome. So great. Well, Luke, we appreciate you so much being here today. We're going to say goodbye to you here on screen, but hang tight in the green room as we wrap things up. Thank you for being such a blessing and being here and blessing our audience today.
Always great to see
Thank
you,
you so
Luke.
much for having me.
All right. Wow. Well, there you go. It gets better all the time.
Well, and I'll just remind people right there, Lessons from the Deep Voice Man and Life Lessons, and it's available on Amazon. So there's something for the summer, just something in the morning. So when I get up in the morning, I read the Bible, and then there's another book that I usually read a part of, just part of my morning routine. And I say, if people want to enhance their morning routine, here's a good choice to do that.
I agree 100%. And let me just like double up on what you just said. And this way, if you guys think I'm not really a reader, books like this one, Life Lessons from the Deep Voice Man, are perfect for you. Chapters, a couple pages long, super easy read, but great content. So I would highly recommend this book. I'm going to tell you while I'm on screen here, I'm going to highly recommend two more books, and that is Catching Whimsy by Bob Goff. Great devotional in the morning. Bob Goff is amazing. The Book of Love Does was his first amazing book. And then in the evening with my beautiful wife and daughter, reading Mark Batterson's Draw the Circle, based on The Circle Maker, a 40-day prayer challenge. If you're looking for some books with simple little short snippets for you to read, morning, night, whenever works for you, those are the kind of books that you should tie into. You don't read them just like that. You read them over time, and it gives you great information. So with that, we're going to remind everybody we're here at 7 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time or 9 a.m. Texas Standard Time every week on The Experience Live with Russ and Scott. Please share this out with your friends. Let them all know that we're on. And you know what? It doesn't matter if they missed it today. They can watch on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. LinkedIn and YouTube forever, Facebook for 30 days. You can still engage. You can still contact Luke. You can still contact us or connect with people in the comments. Also, if you don't have time to watch, listen on Spotify. We'd love for you to listen to our audio podcast as well and like and share those with people. That would be so great. Scott brought this up at the very beginning, but don't forget local.theexperience.video is the best place to go for more information, or directly to theexperience.video for our YouTube page. You can subscribe to that today. So great to have you all here today. I'm going to give you Luke's contact information one more time. This is all in the comments and the show notes, and it is clickable. You can click on it and go directly to them, as is Scott's and my information. And we love to meet and chat with you. Scott, any last comments before we get rolling?
I just want to say thank you to our sponsors that make this show possible. And if you go to local.theexperience.video, there is an opportunity for you to be a sponsor. You can click the link and think of it as a tip jar. If you like the show, if you like guests like Luke, then click that link and make a contribution. We're grateful for all of that.
And if you don't have time or a company to be a sponsor, we also are listener supported. You can click this QR code or go directly to the link to give to what we consider a ministry, blessing all of you with people's experience of life, bringing in great voices like the Deep Voice Man, Luke, Jean Louise, who can help you with all that you're doing. Last but not least, we love our sponsors. We have a special thing we want to tell you about. Thank you, Ironhead Roofing, our new gift sponsor for this special $500 off a new roof. Take advantage today. For those of you in Oregon that would love to get a new roof and save money, if you are in their service area in the Willamette Valley and beyond, you need to watch our show Mondays, comment for a chance to win $500 off a free roof. And who isn't excited by that? I mean, what do you got to say about that, Scott? So with that, any last words?
Hey, I just want to say thank you to our friend and guest today, Luke, for being on the show. Congratulations on the book, and we wish him well as he continues to publish books with
That's it.
deep life experiences.
Enjoy life, everybody, and enjoy
The experience.
Woohoo! See ya.
Thanks for tuning in to The Experience live with Russ and Scott. If you enjoyed today's show, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or subscribe on YouTube. See you next time.